welcome designers to the full tour of Life Game Design Pro. Now, before we get into this, I'm going to go into a lot of nuance, and I'm already going to assume that you're a designer. You already have watched the light version of the full tour, and now you want to know what you get as bonus features in the Pro version. So if you're not already a designer, go back and watch the full light tour so that you're not confused about any of the concepts that I'm going to talk about in this. I want to cover the coolest things first in this tour, so we're going to start with the minigames. I'm going to do a full playthrough of all of the minigames that you get as a bonus in Life Game Design Pro, and then I'm going to show you all of the other features that aren't as exciting but are really essential to the core functionality of how you're going to use your own life game design. Whatever you're curious about, you can use the chapters below to skip around to sections that you really want to check out for yourself, but now I'm going to head straight into the minigames to do a full playthrough of the Pro specific minigames that we're going to have. So just as a refresher, the minigames are the self-improvement cycle that I've built into a gamified and streamlined system. So we have vision, design, focus, and reflect. And to understand more about it, here is the cycle over here. We have our vision, where we create a future vision of our success. We have a design, where we organize and optimize our current life. Then we find and focus what is important to us. And finally, we gain insights by reflecting on the achievements that we create. And the way that this loop works is that it goes through this process here. We have our vision, then we go into design, focus, and reflect. And then we come back to design once we gain our insights from our reflection to create a better design for next time. While our vision is something that we can go back to every once in a while, our main core gameplay loop of life game design is going through the design, focus, and reflect stages. Scrolling down, I can show you the Life Game Design Pro minigames unlock cycle. So in LGD Pro, we have access to all of the vision games. I'm going to be playing the Ultimate Vision. We have access to weak designs in Pro, which I'll be playing as well. We have access to all of the focus games, and we'll be playing the focus intention game. And in Reflect, we have access to weak reflections. And just to be crystal clear on the unlock cycle for each of these sections of the minigames, for vision over here, we have our OctaCore tier list, and then we would do our ultimate vision board in Pro. For the Pro design games, you can either do a today or tomorrow design, and then you would do a this week or next 7 days design in the Pro version, whereas month, seasons, and years are reserved for the Ultra version. Then we would go into Focus. In Focus, we do the OctaCore course, then we do our Focus Intention, which is exclusive to Pro, and then we have our Focus Room, which is a bit expanded in Life Game Design Pro because we have access to our notes. And then we would go on to Reflect. And in Reflect, very similar to design, we would go through either today or tomorrow reflections. So in this gameplay, we're going to be doing the this week reflection, and then that is the end of the minigame cycle where we would go back to design. So now that we're refreshed on the whole minigame cycle, let's play the game of Life Game Design Pro and get into our vision minigames. And we're going to start with our ultimate vision because we've already done the OctaCore and tier list vision board in the light version. So over here in the ultimate vision board, what we're going to do is learn how to create the ultimate vision board. Over here, we are going to use both OctaCore and the tier list system and combine these two frameworks to find out what success looks like in our lives in the future and what is really impactful and meaning to us at the same time. To start this off, we're going to press this Envision over here, and remember that there is always these video guides to help you with exactly how to do this step by step, guided by me as if I was playing it right there with you. Those guides are available for every single minigame in LGD. So if you ever get lonely, you know where to find me and those videos. So let's go into Envision to start off our ultimate vision board. So we click this tab here to open it up. And now you can see I've already closed these up, but these are the tier list options. We have bronze, silver, gold, and diamond. And across here, we have all of our OctaCore attributes. Let me zoom out a little bit here so you can see them all in one. Now we can see we have strength, persistence, experience, creativity, contribution, intelligence, attachment, and life force. So the whole point of the ultimate vision board is to see both our OctaCore and this tier list at the same time. What we've done before with our standard OctaCore vision board is seeing all of the things that we want to achieve in all these different areas of life. And then what we did with the tier list separately is that we ranked how meaningful those things would be. So in terms of our diamond achievements, doing something like 100 days of meditation, going for a family holiday, getting into a long-term relationship, these are all things that would really impact our fulfillment in life. Whereas things below that are lesser and lesser, but still important. And maybe we may find things that are less important to us. And that's the whole reason why we want to figure it out. So now we're going to combine those two and figure out what our ultimate vision would look like. First, we want to start at bronze. So I'll open all of these up so you have an idea. So now we can see across all of our OctaCore attributes in the diamond tier, what are the most important things to me? Now, it doesn't have to be filled out in every single area because you might not know that yet. But once you do, you have a drive to try and go and achieve these things as fast as possible. So what I would do in this situation, because you've already done your OctaCore board over here, so you know all the areas of life that you want achievements in and what those would look like, and you've already done your tier list, which you have prioritized which achievements would be most important to you, then you can come into the ultimate tab here and just double check anything. So what I would do is exactly what we did in the tier list before and have a look at all of the bronze achievements and just double check whether they are bronze achievements or if they deserve higher tiers. Everything that I put in bronze here is pretty much things that I would actually want to do in diamond. So getting 100 kg bench press, that would be massive for me. Moving to a new apartment, definitely a goal. Seeing the aurora for a first time and going to Japan, having my first 100k view video, all of these things would be massive achievements for me, especially something like creating a whole generation of life game designers. That is definitely something that I want to achieve for my personal vision board. Also have some other aspirations here that I'm going to quickly enter into the diamond, and you're going to see them fill up in this top section here. So I'm going to finish off putting all of these in diamond just as an example, and this would pretty much already be done in your ultimate vision board, but the main perk of this is that you get to see it as soon as you go into your design games. This is something that we're going to keep and something that we're always going to refer to before we get into our design. You'll see that in a bit soon. All right, so now that we've created our ultimate vision, we can see all of the most important achievements that we will want to have in life in all of our different areas of life. And this is really cool because seeing just the tier list by itself doesn't really organize this into what categories of life are most important to me. And again, just seeing the OctaCore board by itself doesn't show me which achievements would be most impactful in my life. So this ultimate board is a way to be able to separate out these things. So I can see all of the diamond, gold, silver, and bronze things. Because really what I want to do is separate out the silver and bronze from the gold and the diamond. And essentially what I want to do is focus on the diamond achievements because I know that I'll have so much more drive, energy, and passion to put into these things to achieve these things rather than trying to focus on visions that are just bronze or silver. I know that maybe I want to achieve those things someday, but this will help me lock into exactly what I need to do to create a life that I'm proud of. So once you've finished your board, you can go a step further if you'd like, which is a really cool feature of Pro, where you have these sub projects that are attuned to each OctaCore attribute. So instead of me having to select the template for the experience project of going to Japan, it's already automatically loaded here. So I can add sub-projects that are bucketed here to add places like going to specific places in Japan. So I would say go to Osaka. I can quickly find a picture of Osaka using Unsplash and it will load like that. And if I press back on my browser, I can go to this main project and now I can see go to Osaka is listed as a sub-project of this. And if I close this and zoom in on the go to Japan, I can see go to Osaka as a part of the Japan experience in this vision. So I can list a whole bunch of things that I would like to achieve. So this is the kind of way that you would want to make your vision into a reality by breaking it down into smaller parts. So these are things that you can actually achieve. One more example of this is where I have this goal of hitting 100 kg bench press that I've already sorted out here. If I open this up and I scroll down to sub projects and I go to this tab so I can see the bucketed ones, I can see that I've broken down this 100 kg bench press into 95, 90, 85, and 80 kgs. So if I'm currently at 75 kg, this gives me a really good track record to be able to hit all of these goals in a linear process, just like a game designer would design a quest for you to hit these really small steps towards getting this ultimate mission done. If I close that, we're pretty much done with the OctaCore vision board, and I'm excited to go into unlocking the next, which is the week design. So let's go into the relax section over here. And once we've done our minigame, we always want to congratulate ourselves by completing it. So over here, I've always got you buttons to press this and it will add playing the game itself as an achievement. So now we have the ultimate clarity on our vision. And this has been added as a Life Force project achievement because we're understanding more about ourselves. So if we open this achievement pop-up, we can see this Learn Life Game Design project. And this is what you'll currently have as your focus project. So if we scroll down, we can see that our vision is done and our ultimate vision is done over here. So we get this cool achievement that shows us that we've completed all of the vision mini games. So if I click away and close that, it will help us decide what game I should play next. So I can open this, I can see all of the mini games that I have here, and I can see the unlocked mini games that I have. And importantly, on this side here, I can see the minigame cycle as soon as I finish them. So I know exactly what the next step in my self-improvement system is. So now that we've completed our vision, our next step is to go into design. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to unlock the design minigames using this button here, and you'll see it appear right here. And we can click this button to go straight there. So I'm going to hit that. Let's go straight to the design minigames. And now I can see that I have unlocked day designs and week designs. In the normal playthrough, I would get you to play day designs first before you would unlock week designs. But for the sake of this full tour video, we're going to go straight into week designs so I can show you all the cool things that I have for you there. All right, designers, let's jump into week designs. And what we're going to do is this week design. And now with this, we're going to create clarity. So we're going to create a bunch of highlights to make every single day have its own purpose. So once we're done, it's going to look something similar to this. So our first step is to create a week dashboard by organizing our projects and tasks. And the first thing we want to do is click this rewind button here. So this is going to show us our task and project achievements, everything that we've done in the past. And this is going to help us do two things. One, it's either going to be really good. You've either been really focused and you've been achieving a lot of things recently. And this is going to show you all of this undeniable evidence that you are on the right path. Or number two is that actually this is bad. Your achievements board is really empty and it's going to show you that you haven't really done anything even though you said you would do these things. And that's going to give you a negative motivation. It's going to force you to face that you haven't achieved what you set out to do. And it's going to make you understand that if I want my achievements board to look a certain way, I'm going to have to put in the work to get that done. And just like how games give you feedback on how you're doing, this achievements board is going to show you that if you're doing good, you want to strive for more. And if you're not doing as good as you hope to be, you're also going to want to strive for more anyways to get to the level that you want to hit. So that's the reason and the depth behind putting a rewind at the start of every design. And so what you want to do is just scroll down and appreciate this, maybe do some tweaking of anything that you haven't achieved yet. You can see this in different ways. So we've got our OctaCore board here. You can press shift and use the mouse scroll wheel to slide between these different things. And you've also got your tier list. So this will show you all of your most recent achievements. And when you're ready, we're going to go into our alignment. So clicking this button, here's our alignment. What we're going to do is prepare for the week that we're going to have. So the first thing you want to do is follow this journal here that's going to show us what our priority should be for this week in our lives. So the first thing that I get you to do is rearrange this OctaCore list to set our intention for the week. Now, since you've already watched the LGD Lite version of the full tour, you know what a focus intention is. So this focus intention is all the OctaCore areas, are specific areas and projects that we are focusing and dialing in on for the season of our life. I've already left these as default for intelligence, Notion, and learning life game design, but we are going to set our own focus intention in the next minigame. So our focus for this week should look something like this. I'm going to close that up so you can get a better view of just this section here. So what we want to do is rearrange this list. So I want to put intelligence right at the top because we're learning about Notion and learning how to use life game design. And then I want to do strength as my second. Persistence I'll put at the bottom because I already know how to organize all of my life admin tasks. I'm going to put life force just up here because I want to focus a bit more on my mental health and creativity as well. And as we do this, we can see a pattern form in what are the most specific and important areas of life that we want to hone in on. These are our OctaCore attributes. And if you forget what they are, you've got this OctaCore mini guide right here to remind you, and you can go in depth on everything that you want to learn more on in terms of these attributes. But remember, OctaCore is not a framework that you have to try and learn or remember. It's one that you experience through playing live and also playing live game design. So just for one example, I'll show you that we've got the strength guide and we can flick between these really easily. So our focus area is intelligence, so let's review that really quickly. And intelligence enhances our understanding of the world through acquiring knowledge. Investing in education, planning, and continuous learning elevates our decision-making abilities, unlocking new perspectives and opportunities. So once we've got the information we needed, we can click away and make sure that this OctaCore intention is the same. So generally, you'll be setting this every week, and all you need to do is rearrange these things. And once that's done, you can just leave it. Now, if you want to start from scratch, you can click this button to create a new OctaCore alignment up here. But generally, you want to keep this week to week and just see what the difference is between each week. And essentially, the best thing would be that you don't really have to adjust these too much, and that means you are on the right path. Or if this is adjusting quite a lot, you know that this is quite a turbulent time of your life. We also have some journaling questions to help you understand what would the best version of myself do this week, things like what is on your mind, and also a list for gratitude to help us get into a more positive mood to go into actually managing our projects for this week. And if we scroll down, you can see, like I mentioned before in the vision minigame, we have our ultimate vision board. So ideally, you want to just review this before you go into your design so you remember what you're working towards in the long term. So the reason why we had our rewind and this stage is because we don't want to dive straight into trying to organize a whole week with our projects and tasks and all this complicated stuff. We want to play it like the level in a game where you go through these easy steps that slowly ramp up into you defeating the boss. And if you notice, game design in good games, they don't just smash you with all these hard challenges that you're not ready for. They gradually give you tasks that you are ready for and give you small steps and increments into completing bigger and bigger tasks. So that's exactly how LGD is designed, and now we're ready to actually tackle projects now that we've got all this priming done. So let's hit this button, go into projects, and now we see that we have 3 sections to organizing this, because managing all the things that you're going to do throughout the week is a huge task and it can be pretty overwhelming. So that's why, again, in the spirit of game design, we break that up into sections. We break that up into smaller levels to hit. So even if we aren't doing something that's easy, it feels a lot easier. So our first section here is our brainstorm. So what we want to do with our brainstorm is see all of our overdue projects first and manage those. These are things that I'm actually going to do this week because we're kind of designing in the middle of a week. It's a bit awkward. So these are actually things that I'm going to do this week. That I'm planning just for the sake of this demo. As you can see, today is Friday, and these things would be the overdue projects here. So what you can do to quickly manage these overdue projects is by these buttons here. You can set all of your overdue projects to today's date, or you can clear all the dates of your overdue projects. So this will probably be the best one to do if there's way too much that's going on. So you can hit this button and all of this will disappear, but you'll notice that some of these have gone as well. So I'm just going to undo that because these are actually for this week, as I mentioned. So we're going to close this. We can go to our calendar over here and see all of the things that we have on for this week, and it's already pretty loaded, and that's good because we want to get busy. We want to be able to achieve things to show in our achievements board, and then we can also consult with all of our active projects. So over here we can see all of our focusing, actioning, and awaiting projects. And the whole point of life game design is that you don't have to constantly remember all of the things that you're trying to accomplish in life. You can let life game design handle the task of remembering all that stuff for you and just coming here to refer to it whenever you need to. And when you start putting everything that you want to do in life in terms of like every area of life as well, things like leisure, things like friend hangouts and birthdays, there's going to be a lot. And that's exactly why we have this focusing tab here, because in actioning, I have 15 things that I don't necessarily want to keep track of, but I know these are things that I want to show in my achievements board. So what I do is I'd move them to either focusing or awaiting to get rid of the clutter. You've also got your standard views of seeing all of your different project status options over here. And you've also got your quick search here. And remember that here, if I open the mini guides up here, you can see that if I forget how status works, I can refer to these whenever if I don't remember how it works. So I don't have to remember all of these concepts from LGD off by heart. I have the mini guides to refer to. So specifically something like how does project status work? these are all the details. So quickly, bucketed are things that we won't do this year. So this is our vision board. Awaiting is anything that is not started but planned for this year. Actioning are projects in progress. Focusing are projects needing more effort. Achieved, obviously achieved projects. And archived are things that we don't want to show in our achievements board or things that have been cancelled. So now that I've refreshed myself on all of those things, I can close this and get back to this. So I can close this section here if I don't want way too many things on my screen at once. And I have all of the week's projects that I've got in this section here. And again, using these toggles, I can close all of the clutter and just see things like things that I've already achieved, or just see things that I'm focusing on for this week. Using these toggles is really important and also will help you so much. So mainly what you want to do in this brainstorm section is literally do a brainstorm of all the things that you could possibly do in any time of your life and just dump them here and see if there's anything that lines up with what you're going to do this week. So let's say there's a book that I just found out about that I really want to read. Let's say it was Ali Abdaal's Feel Good Productivity. Maybe I don't have the time to read this now, and I just want to keep this in my awaiting things because I know that I want to definitely do it this year. So this is an example of just like brain dumping all these things that you could possibly do throughout this year that you want to keep. And once I have those things that I know that are not going to happen this week, I can close this and just get onto the focusing things. And what I would want to do here is open these up and just break these down into smaller steps. So we can see that I have this uni assignment and I want to break that uni assignment down into sub-projects like doing a quick test quiz or doing key topic research. And even those big things needs to be broken down themselves, so you can add tasks, but you can do tasks for the whole project itself down here, where I can review my notes, write a draft assignment, do 10 minutes of research, and finalize the draft. These really small steps to getting this thing done is the whole reason why we're so addicted to, games that have these massive quest lines, but break them down into small steps that the game designer helps you through. Also in the pro version, since we have access to notes, we can see our project notes according to this project. So for the uni project note, we can have this. We have like our quick test quiz notes that we can have here, all being able to be accessed in this one spot of our uni assignment, which is really cool because other people would usually have some like project manager for the uni assignment. Then they would have a separate task manager for their other stuff. And then they would also have a separate notes app, and they wouldn't be able to see all of these things at once. And they would be constantly switching between these tasks of trying to manage this massive thing. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. So now that we've got that stuff sorted, we can close this up and go on to our time block section, because just seeing this brainstorm here kind of shows us all these things that we could do, but these things already have dates, so they're already scheduled. So I don't want to see that kind of stuff. So that's why we go into time block here. Now, the time block section is going to show us everything that doesn't have a date, and it's also going to show us our calendar over here. So I can account for everything that I have coming up, and I can also see all of the things that I haven't currently added a date to. So there's this work project here that's due today, but let's just say we're doing this on Monday, which is the best day to do our week designs. We would have our work project here, and then I would drag and drop these steps of the work project to do for each day of the week and just spread it out. So I have to just drag and drop this like that. And so all of these steps that I need to get done make the whole task of doing this whole work project way less daunting. So I have those steps like writing the workshop plan, creating a presentation slides, emailing the draft to my manager, presenting the workshop on Thursday, and finally the whole thing would be completed on Friday. So it would be the same process whether you had work or uni things to do, and having this calendar would help you organize all these things in different ways. So that's a really cool feature of this time blocking section within LGD, but just remember that you don't need to time block everything, so we can close these depending on what we've already done. And if we can see that there's nothing else that calls our attention, or maybe our workload looks way too much and we actually need to add some leisure because life is a game that we have to design, not only play. We have to understand that game designers purposefully make gamers take breaks from all the grinding that they do so that they don't get burned out from the game. And the same exact thing applies to life. We have to design our leisure into life. So if I feel like this is way too much grinding and not enough leisure time, I can find this movie that I've wanted to watch for a while. It's called Ready Player One. If you know, you know. So we can drag and drop this into maybe Tuesday, where we're just going to watch it after we do our uni assignment and do those things. just to kind of let off some steam. So now looking at this week, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. So what I can do now that I've figured out what I'm going to do is just organize everything with this tab. This organize section will show me all of the different ways that I can view this week's projects. So I can see the status of everything in this gallery view, so I can see things I've already achieved, like these mini games. I can see all the things that I'm focusing on for this week. And then I can see all of the other stuff that I've got going on. If I really wanted to, I could adjust these. So what I would do is with this work project, I would put that into focusing. So I know that I need to give it some more attention and change the priority to urgent and important. So I can see that my main points of focus this week are hitting my squat PR, my uni assignment, my work project, and this date night over here. Going further, I can see this OctaCore view. So I can see what my OctaCore distribution would look like. And if you've seen some other videos of mine, you'll know that OctaCore distribution is how many things I have in each of these sections. So my OctaCore distribution is mainly focused on contribution here and intelligence. And I'm actually missing on creativity, which may be fine because this isn't the season of life for me to be focusing on this. So this is a really intuitive way, just by organizing the projects that I have in my life, to intuitively get insights on what my life will look like and how I feel about this current design of my life. Because as I use life game design more and more, I'll find out that there's a pattern. Like whenever my OctaCore distribution looks like this, I generally like how my life is going, or it might be the opposite. And those things will tell you what you need to change without having to read all of the books to gain that same kind of wisdom. If I go into the tier list over here, I can see what are the most fulfilling things that I'm going to be doing this week. So I've got 2 diamond achievements, which is definitely going to be reading the Atomic Habits summary and going for this date night that I've been looking forward to. And I can make any adjustments to that around here. So if I really care about the squat PR that I want to hit, I can change that to gold if I wanted to and add that up the ranking. In a more productive sense, I can use this priority view, and this will help me determine what is truly worthy of my attention in terms of the Eisenhower matrix. Now again, if you forgot, we can just go to the mini guide to remember what priority is, which is based on the Eisenhower matrix. So we have this over here, which is a really simplified way of understanding our projects and tasks, which show us our do first, do next, schedule, and schedule or delete. If we want more information and how to do it exactly, we can see in depth on the mini guide here. So exiting that, I can see that our uni assignment, reading the Atomic Habits summary, this work project, and doing meal prep are the most important things that I want to get done this week. And all of the rest doesn't really need to be scheduled and time blocked, so that's okay. Just these things are important. But taking it all into account in terms of all these different areas of life, what I want to look at is my highlights here. So now I can see all of the highlights that I have coming up this week. If I forgot how to create highlights, I've got the highlight mini guide here. And this mini guide will teach me about highlights, which are projects that we choose to represent the day, and also the criteria for doing them. I've also got a dedicated video guide here to show you exactly how to do it step by step and all the variations of highlights that you can have. So you can watch that when you get either LGD Pro or Lite. So exiting out there, because we know how to make highlights, we can go to our status here, and we know that we have to set things that are focusing as a highlight. So definitely for one of the days, I want this Ready Player One to be a highlight. So it's focusing, the date is this week, and the tier list is gold. This may be confusing to you, but if you read how to do the highlights, you'll understand it for when you use your own life game design. But anyways, that's how we create highlights. We just match these certain criteria for this. So now we can see that we've got more highlights among all of the days of the week. And that's ideally what we want to do. We want to make sure that every day of our week has a definitive purpose, whether it be something like important, completing a uni assignment, or just taking time to watch something that would be impactful to us, like watching the movie Ready Player One. And that's how you design purpose into every single day of your week. Coming down to the end here, we can see a calendar view in a wide setup, and also see the same thing for our whole month as well. Over here, we have the standard views of our projects with our active ones, focusing, actioning, and awaiting. Then we can see all of our projects like this. If we close these toggles, we can see all of the different status options here. And finally, we've got our search function as well. So this has taken us a while to explain because I have to go through each bit. But when you do your own week design, it'll take you no more than like 15 minutes. And think about the clarity that you gain from taking 15 minutes to organize 168 hours of your life and how impactful that is, compared to trying to figure out every day for probably 10 minutes at a time what you're going to do each day. Doing a week design is the quickest way to earn so much time, focus, and energy from your day and apply that into just achieving your goals so that you can build a better achievements board and be more proud of the life that you're living. So now that we've organized all of our projects, we want to do pretty much the same thing with our tasks, but ultimately 90% of how you're going to design your week will be through projects. For example, I've already added tasks to this uni assignment that I know that I want to get done. So what I can do if I open up this uni assignment in full view is scroll down to the task section, see all of the tasks I have here, and I can take that a step further and go into my time blocking for tasks and see today's date. I don't have any tasks set already yet, but what I can do is just, again, like we did before, drag and drop these into different days to plan out how I'm going to get these things done. You have the same feature for sub projects up here, but just remember that this is something that you want to do in the full view. So I'm going to close those up now that I've time blocked my tasks. And generally, instead of going straight to tasks, what you want to do is open up your projects, break them down into smaller steps using tasks, and then go into organizing them for the week. And to make this game easier, I've made the task section exactly the same as the projects. So we have our Brainstorm, where we can see all of the tasks that we have. We've got our Overdue, but since we're in the middle of the week, it's just showing us that, so we ignore this. And we have our calendar to show us all the things that we're doing this week in terms of tasks. And then we can see all of our tasks in our actioning and all these other views over here. We've got the same layout, seeing all of our tasks in this section and seeing specifically our week tasks in this section. So I won't spend too much time in these because these are functioning exactly the same as projects, and we've already done most of the heavy work with our projects. So just in case we want to go to time block just to see if there's anything else that kind of pops out to us, and there's nothing, but let's just say I remembered there was a small task that I wanted to do. Let's say water my plants. Let's just say I did that. I'm going to set that as a persistence task because that's kind of like life admin stuff. I'm going to drag and drop that into today. And now I've set that up so I can turn that into an achievement later on. Our time blocking is done. What we want to do is go into organize, and it's pretty much exactly the same as tasks. We've got our status here in a list view. We've got our OctaCore board so we can see what our distribution looks like. Again, this is mostly going to be beneficial if you go into your project's OctaCore distribution. You've got the same priority view here so you can see what's important, and you've got your calendar views in here. You've also got this really cool feature called Weeks Projects, and Weeks Projects is going to show you all of the projects that have a date this week that have tasks. So the only one that's showing up is Uni Assignment, because Uni Assignment is the only project that has a task. I can see all of the tasks at the same time, and let's say I've already done some of these. I can change it from here instead of opening up the project to change it from here, which is a bit slower. Instead of opening up this project itself, I can change them from that view we just saw before. So that just makes everything a lot more efficient, and I can even revert this as well. Again, at the end here, we have our default task views that show us things like our search button. So now that we've both organized our projects and our tasks, we want to finish up this week design by going into our review of everything. So with our review, we have two sections. We have our dashboards just to overview everything we've done, and we can also figure out what game you want to play next. So the first thing we want to do is complete this week's design. So we click this button and it shows that we're really living the philosophy of life game design. We've got so much more clarity and control over our week, and if we open this up, we can see that week design has been added as an intelligence project. So we can see that the status is automatically achieved and the date is today's date. So if we exit out of there, we can open up our this week dashboards. In the pro version, which you'll see a bit more in detail later, you have access to all of the dashboards that show you all of the more granular details of how your week is going in terms of projects and tasks. So I'll open these up and then I'll give you a sneak peek of those. So we have our this week dashboard, which shows my projects on the left and my tasks on the right. Over here, I can see calendar views side by side of these two things, which is really handy. And this is more of a simplistic view just to see a bird's eye view of everything that we've done. But if I want more detail, what I can do is go to this week's projects, and this will show me a dashboard of what I saw at the end in the organize section. So I don't have to go all the way back to see and organize things that I may have forgotten. I can come right here and go through all of the views like this. And it's exactly the same for this week's tasks over here. And if I click any of these buttons, I can go straight to those sections in the dashboards. So I'll show you, this is our this week's tasks organized section that we literally just got out of. And if I go to click on this week dashboard, I'm going to preview all of the dashboard things that I can see. So this is this week in our short-term dashboards, and we can see our menu buttons over here that will give us different ways to see everything. So this is our very simplistic view of our this week dashboard. Like I showed you before, we have our projects on the left, tasks on the right. We have our achievements for this week, which is really cool. We can see our project achievements for this week. We've got this week's projects, which is the organized section that we just opened up recently. The same for tasks. And since we're in LGD Pro, we have the same for looking at this week's notes. We can see all of the notes that we've organized or edited this week. But ideally, what I want to do is go back. So I'm going to press back on my browser until I get back to the mini game that I was in. And now I'm back to the review section in dashboard. So what I actually want to do is go to play the next game. And as soon as we get into playing the next game, it's going to tell me that now that I've designed my goals, it's time to focus on them. So the first thing I want to do, since I've completed all of the design mini games within LGD Pro, I want to press this unlock design achievement. And if I open this up, it's going to show me down here, I've completed all of the essential design mini games, which is really cool. So that means if I exit out of here and refer to the diagram, I've completed design, and now it's time to go into focus. So what we're going to do in LGD Pro specifically is we're going to play the focus intention game, because this is a bit more expanded compared to the light version. The light version is automatically set up for you, but in the Pro version, we get to choose our own focus intention. Okay, designers, let's go straight into our intention game. Here we're going to create an OctaCore focus intention that looks something similar to this, where we have our OctaCore attribute focus, we have a specific area focus, and we have a project focus. This is set by default for you as intelligence, which is learning, finance, and planning. It's set as an area, which is Notion, because this is probably the first time you're using Notion or getting used to how Notion works in terms of life game design. And finally, we're learning the whole concept of life game design with all of the philosophies and actionable frameworks attached to it. So this is how it's been set up for you by default. But now in the Pro version of LGD, we can set that for ourselves. So what we want to do is go straight in there and click this OctaCore button to set our OctaCore attributes that we want to focus on. So automatically intelligence is set. So we want to take that back into active, and we want to set something over here as our real focus attribute. But we don't really know what that is. We need some more clarity on what that's going to look like. So I've got this journal for you here. So if we open that up, this is going to help you discover what that is. And when you come back to this exercise, you can use the same journal once over again. So the first thing we want to do is figure out which of these OctaCore attributes are most important to us in this season of life. Because you've learned from the OctaCore course that this isn't an attribute system where you have to max all of your stats, because in life that is literally impossible. We have to figure out what our playstyle is for our unique view of the world and what fulfills us the most. And so just covering them as a refresher really quickly: strength, everything to do with our physical health. You could say you want to be fit and healthy. Persistence, maybe you need to master the basic maintenance of life. Experience, maybe you need to take a break or socialize more. Creativity, maybe you want to create something meaningful to me. For me, creativity is life game design. Contribution, maybe you want to level up and transform your career. Intelligence, maybe you want to learn, plan, or manage your finances. Intelligence was already set for you by default because you're learning life game design. Attachment, maybe you want to improve or fix deep relationships, whether that's family, close friends, or romantic partners. And life force, maybe you need to improve the relationship to yourself, as in your mental health, or spirituality, or a higher power. So these categories in OctaCore will give you a clue as to what resonates mostly with you, and you can click these checkboxes to figure out what you have most interest in. So for me, I really want to do a bulk and gain the most amount of muscle that I've ever had in my life. So I would pick strength. Something that I'm also interested in is transforming my career. I want to learn how to do freelance video editing. So I would click contribution. And also intelligence. I would love to read more books. So let's say I have a goal of reading something like 10 books in 3 months, which is quite a lot, but I really think I can do it because I listen to audiobooks while I walk to the gym and stuff like that. So we can click on intelligence, and this will leave us clues as to which of these we should pick for our focus intention. And what we want to do is take that further. We can list realistic improvements that we can make to ourselves that would transform us. So we want to think of a project in mind. So within strength, that would look like going on a 6-month bulk. In terms of contribution, what I want to do is start freelance editing. And finally, for intelligence, like I said, I would just want to read 10 books. So I've got all of these realistic improvements that I would want that would transform me, but I only have a finite amount of time. I can't really do all of these things at once because that would be stretching myself way too thin, because I currently have a job. I currently am doing uni part-time, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff like the basic maintenance of my life, getting into a new relationship recently, and all these things. That means that I can't really have everything in life. I have to choose. And this is where we really understand the power of the OctaCore framework, because it really intuitively teaches us that we need to dial in on just a few things. So down here, we have to be a bit more realistic and list the obligations that we have in our life that we can't ignore. So this new relationship, we know that we're really happy that this happened, but we know that it's also going to take a lot of our time that we previously would have had if we were single. There's also the fact of doing more overtime at work, which means that I'll have less time to put into all of these 3 things. So maybe that means I'm only going to be able to pick 1 or 2 of these things max. I won't be able to do all 3, and that's fine. That's the exact reason why you want to list these obligations you have, because if you set a focus intention that you're not ready for, then that can kind of backfire. And what you can do, even if you don't really want to have these things as the transformation that you really want to have in life, you can set your obligation itself as a focus intention. I go into way more detail on this specifically in the video guide. So if you click here, you'll get the focus intention video guide, where I'll tell you even more about all of these aspects of intentionally selecting the right OctaCore attribute focus to do for your own period of life. So you can do more detail in that, but I'm going to show you just what you're getting out of this exercise. So what I want to do is rearrange this OctaCore list. So I know that I really want to do this bulk, and that's pretty much the first thing I had my mind on, and I know that's the thing that will actually make the most difference in my life. So let's do that. I've got the strength here. I'm then going to rearrange this list to show me my priorities in order. So I'm going to put attachment, spending time with the people I love, up there. I'm going to put intelligence next, and then I'm going to put contribution next, which is work, and then life force as well. So I think this more represents, if I put persistence down at the bottom and creativity right there, I can leave this and I say this more represents how I actually want to prioritize these different attributes of my life. And with this understanding, I can set my own OctaCore focus intention. So let's close this journal, and now I can set strength as my main focus. Now I'm only going to do strength and not the attachment or the other ones, because what you want to do and what you want to understand is that the more focus attributes you have, the less focus you literally have in those different areas. So the most optimal way to do this is just to pick one focus area, because you'll see as we go through this exercise that it's a lot of work to try and get all of these different things into focus. So with that understanding, we're going to finish this section because we have our OctaCore focus here, and now we can go into areas, which we are going to set a specific area of strength. So strength is everything to do with our physical health, and now we need something to add granularity to that. So I'm going to take away this notion focus right here because that's already done. And now we want to replace it to an area that's specific that is going to help me with this bulk. And what I have over here in this areas section are all of these areas of life that I've already had in life game design that I've put here. So I can see that I've got my hiking locations and experience. I can see that in strength, I've got weightlifting, physique, dentist, doctor, all these different things. And now I want to see what is most in tune with bulking. So to do that, I'm going to use this journal first. So all I want to do is brainstorm area ideas within my strength. So obviously I already have weightlifting there. I could also do nutrition as well, which would be really important for my bulking as well. And then I could have physique, which even though it's not going to look as great when I'm bulking, it's going to be really important to show that I'm actually getting bigger from week to week. So now that we've brainstormed some stuff in our journal, we can even create a new block like this if we want to reset that. And if I have no idea, remember there's these toggles that's going to show you some more examples. So if I already have something important in mind, I can relate that project to an area. So for strength, if I want to hit 100 kg bench press, the area that I would make is weightlifting. So you kind of want to start off with like a project, a goal, an idea of what you want to do, and relate that to an area. So closing this journal and opening back up my areas, what I can see is is my weightlifting thing over here. I already have this weightlifting area that I want to do. And so what I can do if I already have an existing area like this is just set the status to focus like so. But now weightlifting is registered as a area focus, and I can see all of the projects that are already connected to this area of weightlifting, which is really cool. And I've got a detailed guide in this video guide here. I'm not going to go into all of the extreme details. This is just a showcase of how it would work. So now that I've got my OctaCore focus and I've split that OctaCore focus into a specific area that's weightlifting, what I want to do now is go into projects. So this is going to get me to set a specific goal within what I'm trying to achieve here. So in this project section, the first thing I want to open is my journal to figure out what I'm doing here. Basically, I want an outcome, something like reaching a 60 kg bench press. And then what I want to do is have that as the main project and set the sub project as the goal steps. So to get to a 60 kg bench press, what I would need to do is first research bench press form, start or research strength training programs, and also buy a gym memberships. And what I can do on top of that is add sub projects as the steps towards that goal. So if I want to hit 60 kgs as a bench press, I can add increments to that. So I can go from 57.5, 55, 52.5, all the way down to 50. And you can even go as far as you want from there. So that kind of breaks up this really big goal if I haven't started the gym yet, and just breaks it down into smaller steps so I know exactly what to do each day, each month, what targets I should be hitting, and the kind of levels that I'm progressing through in this quest that I've made for myself. So I'm going to close that up. You have your own Brainstorm over here, and I've got an example which would be like this. I want to bulk to 80 kg, and in the same way I want to break that down into smaller steps. So in terms of getting to 80 kg, maybe I want to go from 79 kg to 78 to 77. I want to gain probably a kilo, maybe every 2 weeks or something like that. And that would be a pretty smart way of slowly doing this bulk, so I'm not just gaining a whole bunch of fat. So once I've done my journal and brainstormed all these things, I can close that and open my projects. And if I see these tabs, the first thing that I'm shown is my focus area projects. So my focus area is weightlifting, as you can see over here. And this focus area is going to show me all of the projects within it. So I can see things that I've already achieved. Like I've already done a bench press, squat PR, deadlift PR, and a shoulder press PR. I've also got this 6-month bulk project that I've added before. And this is kind of what I want to do. I want to add this to focusing, and now it's going to show up here. And what I want to do on top of that is open up this project and then add sub projects to it to break it down even more. I've already done this by showing you what I was doing before. This is 79 kg, 78, and 77. Let's just say I'm starting from 76 kilos and I want to bulk up to 80. So this is kind of the progression I would want to make. So I would add those, and just to show you, if I would add 76, I just click this button. It already makes a template for me that's in strength, and I just add it like that. So this is my bulking project. I would also want to find a meal plan, which would be really important. And I would also want to do something like find a new workout program. So these are all the small steps that I would want to take to getting this done. But importantly, what I want to do is make sure I have a focus area focus project. So that is this 6-month bulk 80 kg. And if I hadn't done this already, what I would do, ideally, I would open this weightlifting area and I'd do it straight from here. I would scroll down to projects, and then I would add it in this focusing section. So what I would do is exactly how it shows here. I add plus new, and it will automatically create it as a strength main project. So I just need to add 6-month bulk to this. And then once that's done, I can also open this and add all of those sub projects here just by clicking this. And I can even add tasks just by clicking this, and it will automatically set up all the templates for me so I don't have to go through the boring process of selecting them. So that's the whole benefit of creating areas, to be able to do this way faster. But I'm going to delete this example because we already have it set for us. We've got the 6-month bulk in our focus projects. And now if I click focus area focus projects, it's just going to show me that, because I could have multiple. Maybe I want to do the 6-month bulk, but maybe I also want to hit a higher bench press PR. Let's say because I'm bulking, I'm obviously going to be gaining a lot of strength. So what I want to do is, again, do this the easy way and open the weightlifting area, scroll down to projects, and open the focus section, because if I come here, it's automatically going to add it as a focus project, and also automatically going to select the template, as you can see here. So I want to hit a 100 kg bench press. And now with this 100 kg bench press, I can go down and add these sub projects. So what I would do is take it from 95, go down to 90, and just have these 5 kg increments. So 85 and so on. So I'm happy with those, but I could add more if I want to. But essentially what we want to do with this focus area is that we just want to pick one project that we're going to do as soon as possible. And as I mentioned in this section, this is where your skill as a life game designer will be built, because game designers give players goals to achieve, but more importantly, they focus on how the player will achieve the goal. You may have the goal of losing weight or gaining weight in this case, but if you do not create projects and systems around the steps toward losing or gaining the weight, you won't achieve anything. So to be clear on the goal setting for this minigame, it's that goal setting is a skill you will never master because you won't always know how to achieve the things you want. And so to finish this level of the minigame, all we have to do is make a brainstorm of all of the goals that we could possibly achieve and add them to our projects. They don't have to be in focus, that's fine. And then we want to just find one project that we can achieve in less than a week, preferably today or tomorrow, and set that project to focusing and get it done ASAP. Now I'm going to follow exactly what it said before. So even though I would like to see these, I'm going to add one more focus project, which is literally just finding my bulking meal plan. So I'm going to add it here, find bulk meal plan. And that's something I can do literally today or tomorrow, really quickly. Just find it online, get it, dial it in, lock in, let's go. So now I've got my focus area focus projects here, and you don't have to have all of these options. Like I said, you literally only need one that you're going to do ASAP, because when you come back here, you're going to add so many other things to this as you get more and more progress to this. Because the coolest thing about this is that when you open weightlifting and then you achieve those things, it's going to pop up in achievements over here, and you're going to see all of this stack of things that you've done and that you're proud of, and it's separate from all the other things that you're doing in your life, so you can just show yourself the progress that you're doing just in this area of life and be like, damn, I want to do more and more. Closing this up, we'll go on to the last section of this, which is the review. So in the review, the first thing we want to do is congratulate ourselves for completing another important minigame. So let's press this button and open up this achievement pop-up. This focus intention minigame is achieved and the date is set to today. And if we close that, then we can choose which game to play next. But before then, we can see our focus intention dashboard. So we can see that we have strength here, we've got weightlifting, and we've got our weightlifting projects that are set down here. So now that our focus intention is set, we can choose which game to play next. And naturally, in the normal progression of LGD, you would go through doing the OctaCore course, the focus intention, and then the focus room. But I've already shown you the focus room, so we're going to go into the last reflect game that you get as a bonus in Pro, which is the week reflections. Because now that we've finished the focus games, we go down into reflect. Okay, designers, what we want to do is go into our final stage, which is reflection over here, since we've done all of our focusing. So we want to go to the minigame center, head into reflect over here. And now we can see, if we can see our unlocked reflect minigames, we've got our week reflections. So usually we'd first do our day reflections and then go into week. But since we're just showcasing pro all over, we want to do our this week reflection and go into the steps for that. So the first thing you'll see is kind of like design. It has a rewind section as well, but ideally what we're going to do is reflect and realign, because we're going to use not only the things that we've learned from the mistakes we made, but all of the accomplishments that we've made, and use those insights to help us create a better design for next time. So what we want to do is create a reflection dashboard like this by organizing our projects and tasks. So again, if you ever feel lost on how to do this, I've got a detailed week reflection guide here for you. So opening up this rewind section, we just want to do a further rewind of everything that we've accomplished, because we're only going to be looking at this week, but this whole section lets us see everything we've done in the past up to about 25 achievements. So we can see just things we've done recently, we can see things that we've done in all of our different OctaCore areas and our tier list like this, and also even the tasks that we've done. So once we've taken some time to appreciate all these cool things, we can go into our review here. And this is where we're going to organize all the things before we get into the actual reflection. Because what happens with a lot of the processes that I've seen from other templates is that You try to organize your projects that you've done this week at the same time as trying to reflect on them. Whereas a game designer would never have that kind of mentality. You walk linearly through a level, you don't do all of this backtracking back and forth. So what we have here is actually the same view that we saw in the organization section of the week designs. So this means that what we're working with here is really familiar and we know exactly how to use it already. So you don't have to learn anything new. These are things that we're already acquainted with. So we've got our status over here, which is showing us what we've done this week. So ideally what we want to do is just turn all of these that we've done into achieved. So I'm going to add all of these as achievements because we've already done these things, and you'll see them pop up in this section here. So I did our date night. And since I see all of these are work project ones, what I can do is open up the work project thing over here, and I can highlight all of these and add them to the achieve section just like this, so I don't have to do all of them individually. And then I can scroll down here and add all of these things as achieved as well, because we achieved everything we set ourselves up for because we were intentional with every single day that we had. So over here, we got all this stuff done, and ideally you'd want to do this on a Sunday. So let's just pretend it's Sunday for us and we're just reflecting on the week that we had before we go into the design of our next week. So now that we've added everything as achieved, we can see our OctaCore here in this tab. So if you forgot to add anything as a OctaCore attribute, you can easily drag and drop them into sections like this. And then we can quickly update what we have. This is going to give us a quick insight as to how our OctaCore distribution is, but we'll go deeper into that later. We just want to adjust things so we can see our tier list, and maybe things were more impactful than we thought they were. So this Dr. K podcast was probably like the most impactful thing that we've ever seen on the topic of scrolling, and it really gave us some clear insights on how to prevent that. So we're going to add that as diamond, and in terms of everything else, we're happy about how all of these other things went. And through this, we can just see what things have been most impactful for us in this week. And that will be mainly from our diamond and gold achievements. So going from there, we want to check out our highlights for the week, because this is kind of like a highlight reel of everything cool that we've done. And if there's any loose ends to tie up, we can see our calendars here. We can see everything that we have in terms of projects over here for our week and our month, and also our default project views like you've been seeing before. So these are our week projects. We've organized everything, and now we can do the same for tasks if we've forgotten to set these things as achieved. So before I had that water my plants thing, and I've got all of these tasks that were a part of a project that I want to set as achieved. I can just easily do that real quick. And now all of my week's tasks are accounted for. Again, I can see this OctaCore view. I can see the calendar. And as an extra feature in Pro, because you have access to notes, we can see all of our notes that we've done. So we can see any notes that we've edited, like this workshop presentation note, and maybe we can change the status of it. Either put into focus or active, and just play around with it. So we can see our OctaCore board. This is a work thing, so it's in the contribution. But if it wasn't, maybe we could put it in a different OctaCore area like intelligence. We can swap these things around. We can see what note type these are. So generally there are 4 different note types that I have a dedicated mini guide towards. You can see that over here. Open the note type mini guide to see and understand. We have ideas, which everything starts as. We have frameworks, which are books, concepts, meal plans, reusable lists, packing lists, things like that. And then we also have websites, which are like apps, software, article, online tools, and media, which is everything like podcasts. So you can organize all those things into these different categories to quickly reference them later. Since we're happy with that, this is the final stage of our review section. So yeah, basically we really quickly just go through this review, and then after that we want to do the actual reflection once we've set up all that stuff, because now this is where we actually gain the insights from everything that we've done. So our reflection is broken up into 2 stages. We have our highlights and our OctaCore reflection. So starting with our highlight reflection, we can see, if I just get rid of this first, we can see our highlights on the left here. We can see a tier list of everything that we've done. So our diamond achievements, our gold, and all of the others down here. And then we can see everything in a list like this too. So we don't have the big clutter of having all of the pictures, but I really do like how this looks in terms of how these photos represent everything that we've done. So once I see my highlights, what I want to do is gain insights from all these things that I've achieved. So if I open this journal here, I've got my highlight questions, and this will help us reflect and realign. So the first question is, what were your highlights and were they realistic goals? Because every time you make yourself highlights, sometimes they will be a bit out of your league. And these journal questions are inspired by the thought of being the game designer of your own life. Because if you achieved all or most of your goals, that means that you gave yourself clear and achievable ones. That means you're being a good game designer of your own life. If you didn't design your highlights over here, that means you're not really bothering. You're just trying to play the game of life instead of being the designer of it, which means that you're not really going to achieve much because you don't set out to achieve anything. Remember that the most successful gamers don't just happen upon success, they design it. So that's what we need to do as well. We need to steal that habit for ourselves. And finally over here, maybe we didn't achieve enough or any of our goals, and that means that our goals are unrealistic for where we are now. This means that we're trying to tackle level 80 bosses when we're still at level 20. Maybe we even need to start at level 0, which means we just need to do like tutorial level stuff because we're trying to go through the level progression way too early. And this is why game designers set different areas in the map that are restricted to certain levels, because they know that if you try and tackle that area too early as like a level 20 when it's like a level 80 area, that means you're just going to be demotivated to play the game in the first place because you think you can tackle this thing but you actually can't. So that's why the game designer intentionally creates these different levels and different areas to show you that you need to be able to achieve these things before you try to go on and try to achieve these more complicated things in life. And the next question here is, what lessons did I learn from things that didn't go quite right? Because just because we have an intentional design of our lives doesn't mean that it's going to go exactly smoothly. The best way I think about this is like trying to design a car for all different terrains. So if I was designing a car for a road that I've never been on, I'm going to create a design that is very simple and something that I can adjust along the way. And so when I hit the road that I have a road bump on, then I can change the design of it for the next time. So let's say I designed a street car, but then I hit an off-road section that I have to get through. Then I have to redesign the car to adapt to what the road gives me, because I can only design the car, I can't design the road itself. And so when you make mistakes, this information helps you figure out what you need to take in mind for your next design. So every mistake that you make turns into wisdom. And these two follow-up questions really help, because you will think, what will happen if I don't improve? And if you stay the same, you'll think like, okay, let's say I made the mistake of not getting my uni assignment done on time. If I stay the same, then this whole year of handing in these assignments is going to be really horrible. I'm going to constantly feel behind. I'm going to procrastinate even more because I'm always behind. And I'm going to feel constantly anxious about the fact that I have all these things weighing on me. So just the fact that I know the end result of how this thing is going to hit me, because I can't see it now in the present, is going to make me understand what I need to do to solve this problem. And if I improve, on the other hand, if I make sure to handle my obligations like my uni assignment and I break that big goal down into smaller and smaller tasks, I have so much more energy to do the things that I actually want to do in life rather than just being driven by these things that I kind of overwhelm myself with when it doesn't have to be that hard. So answering these two questions will really help you figure out what you need to do to change the design of your life to have a better one. That's exactly what you have experience doing in games. You know what happens when you fail a boss level and you realize the adjustments that you need to make, and that's exactly what we can apply to life as well. But the reason why you previously haven't done that in life is because, one, you don't know the OctaCore framework, so you don't know how these different areas of life affect each other, whereas in a game that has an attribute system, you know exactly what attributes you need in order to defeat a particular boss, because that boss would have a certain playstyle that you need to adapt to. But also in real life, you probably don't really have a system to understand all the things that you're doing in life and how they affect your energy and your mood and your motivation. So with life game design, we can figure out all of these things to help us create better lives that are more engaging and be addicted to just playing the game of life itself. And once we do this exercise, once we find out what happens if I improve, we'll pretty much know the exact steps that we need to do to make those improvements. And finally, we want to end on gratitude, because just because we've made mistakes doesn't mean that we have to feel, down because of it. We have so many things that we have achieved. But once we finish that highlight reflection, what we want to do is scroll back up to the top and do our OctaCore reflection here. Now with this OctaCore reflection here, you can gain insights from all these different things. So you have your focus intention here, and it's the first thing you want to open because your focus intention should really determine the achievements that you're making in life. We'll get some more information on that later, so I'll close that. But first I want to look at my OctaCore board. I can see, if I scroll down, my OctaCore distribution. So I've done a lot of intelligence. I've only done one in strength, which is a bit concerning because I have my focus intention. But at the same time, I've only just set that focus intention as strength. So it's kind of realistic that I haven't achieved much there, but I know for next week that I will want to have quite a bit over there. But what I had from my previous focus intention, intelligence, and learning life game design is this, all of these achievements. So really, I can just be proud of the fact that I had the focus intention of intelligence before, and the most achievements that I've had is in intelligence. This is telling me that I am on the right path of what the season of my life should look like. I can also see the same view for tasks if you've done a whole bunch of tasks in these different areas, but generally, mainly you're going to be using these projects here. So if I close this OctaCore board, I can see exactly the same thing, but in a list factor. Now, this isn't going to show me all of the OctaCore attributes, just the ones that I have achievements in. You'll see this more clearly with tasks. So if I come to tasks, I can see that I've just got persistence and intelligence here. And what's really cool, if I close up all of these, is that I can see a tally of all of the different achievements in all the different attributes. And the reason why we have this list on the left-hand side is because we want to use this to figure out our journal at the same time. So if we were starting from scratch, I'd delete this block and create a new week reflection down here. And our first question is, which OctaCore attribute achievements fulfilled me the most? Because the most simplified reason as to why we're both addicted to video games is because they help us find what is most fulfilling for us to do. And if we want that same productivity and drive and passion as we have in video games, then all we need to do is find what is fulfilling in real life. We don't need all of these complicated and overhyped game design elements. We just need to do the simple thing. What is fulfilling to us? So that's why we answer this question. So in terms of what has been fulfilling, definitely playing life game design and learning more about the OctaCore framework, playing all through these mini games and discovering what's really important to us in life. Maybe we also enjoyed our friend's birthday on the weekend and that date night, and even watching a few movies as well. So through this, you'll be able to see a pattern from week to week of which things are really fulfilling, and this means that you'll want to create more time to do more of them anyways. Then we can figure out these questions below, and it looks like a lot, but they're just multiple choice, so it's actually not as complicated as it seems. First, we want to think, why did or why didn't my week align with my focus intention? If we just think that our previous focus intention before we changed it was intelligence, and we look at this over here, we've got all of our intelligence projects here that we've done. We can see that, yes, I created time and made progress for my focus intention. Or if that wasn't the case, then we can think, maybe I had too many other obligations. Maybe this week was way too action-packed for me to actually make significant progress in things. So either one of these answers is a good thing because it will help you determine what you need to change in your life to get better results for next time. And down here, you can think, should I change my OctaCore distribution for next week and why? And for our case, this is a yes. We want to focus on other attributes because previously we had intelligence as a focus attribute. And now for next week, we're going to do our bulk that we saw in the previous game with our focus intention. So we want more achievements and strength for that one. And I pretty much explained that decision below, so that's what I would write there. And now we can finally go into the relax section. So let's go into there. Now that we've finished our reflection, we can complete the week reflection by adding the week reflection itself as an achievement. So you can see the date is already assigned here and it's achieved. And now we can just be happy and share all of the achievements that we've made. So it'd be really cool if when you guys get life game design that you can show your own project achievements to show and inspire other people to live a life by design as well. So over here, your project achievements, you can see a chronological list of what you got done from the start of the week to the end of the week. And then you can see the OctaCore distribution that we saw before. You can see your tier list achievements and also your highlights. So you can literally just screenshot any part of these and it will look really cool. You've also, if we scroll down, you can see your tasks in the same manner. You can see all of the status of the tasks that you've done, the OctaCore breakdown, and this is really cool. You can see which date you did all of these things. And we saw it before in the dashboards, but if I just quickly press this over here, I can see this week's achievements and it will show me the exact same thing. So I don't have to go all the way back to this mini game. I can just access it from the dashboards themselves. So I'm going to press back on my browser to get back to the actual mini game, and then I'm going to figure out which game I want to play next. But really, we've finished. So now that we've reflected on our achievements, it's time to create our next design. Because if we look at the minigame cycle over here, we've gone from design, focus, reflect, and now we make our way back to design because we've got all of these great insights, and this is the best time to be doing designing. So what you want to do is press this button and add the achievement as a finished minigame cycle, but I'll let you do that because I've given you a really huge surprise in there that I want you to see in person, so I'll let you do that. But for now, we're going to continue the tour with all of the rest of the features that you'll get in Live Game Design Pro. All right, so let's cover the rest of the features that we have in LGD Pro. So first, I'm going to go here and go back to my home dashboard. And what I want to do is show you the bonus of areas and notes, because in the light version, we only have access to projects and tasks. And so in Pro, we have access to both areas and notes. So let's go to OctaCore and see how that affects it. So what I want to do is showcase my strength areas and notes first. And so within our OctaCore pages, this one is strength, which is everything to do with our physical health. We can see that we have areas, which is exclusive to LGD Pro. We have achievements, projects, and tasks, which you'll also find in light. And we also have notes. So the power of areas is that we can add specificity to this huge attribute of our physical health. So areas that I would split physical health into are things like weightlifting, physique, doctor, and dentist, and probably even more. If I was into running, I would do that. If I was into specifically powerlifting, there's so many things that you could personally apply to your own areas to create a separation between all of the achievements, projects, tasks, and notes that you have. Because within this huge strength area, I have all of these things that show up. But if I wanted to see something just like my weightlifting progress all in one place without having to see everything else on top of that, I could come here. So if I go to my achievements within weightlifting, I can see specifically just my weightlifting achievements, like these PRs that I've been having in the gym. If I go to different OctaCore attributes, something like experience, I would go to my areas and I would see things like an anime list, movies I want to watch, travel locations, gaming things that I've been playing, and hiking locations. All of these have different attributes and different areas related to those attributes. In the mini guides, if you go to the video guides gallery, you can see a whole breakdown on the areas in the areas video guide that tells you how you would make specific areas for these different things. So you can watch that. I'll link it in the description for you. But if you're in either Lite or Pro, you can get access to watching this video. But for this case, I just want to show you just one example of an area all the way through, going through our weightlifting area to show you what it's like, and also showcase notes off a bit more. So if I come here to weightlifting and I open it up in full view like this, I can see that it pretty much looks like my OctaCore page of strength. So I can create new projects, tasks, and notes all within here. So let's say in weightlifting, I want to start a new exercise PR. That'll be something like doing a dumbbell bench press. So I can add that here and it automatically adds the area as weightlifting. So I don't need to manually do that. And the template is already set and all of that cool stuff. I can just exit out of there and add those on the fly really easily. I've also got sub areas. Now these are really cool because in sub areas, I can go into more specificity of what I would want to do. So if I open this chest exercises sub area, I can see all of the notes that I have on specifically chest exercises. So mainly in LGD Pro, you want to use this for notes, but in LGD Ultra, you have achievements that are specific to a sub area like this. We can see we have a whole bunch of ways to organize all of our notes that we have specifically in terms of our chest exercises. So if you're new to something like this and you want to collect all of this research that you're having, that's how you would use this. You would use the Save to Notion extension to save all of these chest exercises that you find on the internet, whether they're through articles or videos or whatever. and bring them all here so you can keep them all in one place so they're not cluttered with all the other infinite amount of notes that you have in your life as well. So that's what sub areas are like. If I go back into weightlifting and I close this up, I can see that we have standard achievements that we have in all of these different areas, but it's separated from all the other physical health things that are in strength. So if I'm really into both running and weightlifting, I can separate those things out and just be appreciative of the achievements that I have in those individual pursuits of physical health. So I can see all of the recent things I've had. I can see a tier list just of the things that I have done in weightlifting. I can even see which year that I've done each of these things in. So if I add some dates here, I can add a project date. Like let's say this was in 2024. And if I did this squat PR ages ago, I'll say that was in 2023. I'll add that. Now I can see the separation of different years that I've done these things. So this is really cool. Once you accumulate more and more achievements and more PRs and things like that, you can see how you did compared to last year. And like I said, this extrapolates to every other area of life, whether that's how many books you're reading. I would do like a dedicated area for books and stuff like that. And you could see how many books you've read each year because this number tally will come up and you can see what you've read. You would even have like a tier list of all the books you read. But yeah, but so much potential in the system of areas and notes tied to also projects and tasks. So that's our achievements that we have. We've also got all of our projects that are not yet complete. So we have a focus section, so we can see all of the focus projects on weightlifting. We have our vision here. So if we wanted to add things that we would want to do, let's say I want to have abs at 80 kg. We can put that there and we can put a whole bunch of things in terms of a vision we want to have specifically for weightlifting. So going back here, I can see all of the stuff I have in a board like this. I can see it in a gallery view like this, seeing all of the different status options at the same time. And then I have this more minimal list here. And then I've got my priority of all of the active projects. So I can see, let's say I'm going to put this into urgent and important because I'm doing my bulk at the moment. Then I've got my focus tab. I've got the vision board specifically to this area. And then I've got all of the calendars and the default views over there. In tasks, it's pretty much the same setup. I've got my board, I've got a list over here. I've got active project tasks, and I'll show you what that looks like if I add a task to this project. So let me go scroll down here, add a task called start bulk. And now if I go back to the task, I can see all of the tasks related to this project, and I can even add them directly here, which is super cool. Really efficient if you have a bunch of projects here that have tasks and you want to manage them all side by side without having to open each of these projects up and slowly going through them like that. And then finally, we have our LGD Pro exclusive feature, which is notes. And it's kind of the same setup. So we have a gallery of all of our notes within weightlifting. I can see the same thing as a list if I just want to see it more minimally. I can see all of the focus notes that I have. So let's say I am working on chest, and I can put this chest exercises for growth and focus, and I'll see it right here. Get rid of all the other clutter that I've got going on there. I can see the type of notes that I have. So let's say this best chest exercise for growth is a video, so I can turn that into media. So what I can do is quickly reference all of the media that I have on chest exercises or weightlifting exercises or whatever, because there's so many good resources, especially videos online, that you can use, and you want to keep them all here just to reference really quickly, especially when you're training other people as well. When you've gotten to a good level and you want to show other people how you did what you did, then you can come back and do this here. Or in the same way, if your friends give you things from the internet that you want to save, you can save it all here. You've also got a view of all of the links that you've got. So if this has a URL, like a YouTube video, you can add it and see it only in the links section. And then this is really cool. You can see active sub areas. So what this means, I've done way more detail in the dedicated areas video guide. So if you want to see that, you can go check that out. But over here, you can see this chest exercises and this weightlifting basics areas. I can see all of the notes attached to those specific things. So this is really cool. Instead of opening these sub areas up themselves, I can see all of the notes that are contained within them, all from this bird's eye view. And the same kind of thing works for projects. So if I go to active projects, I can see that my 100 kg bench press is here. I can see any notes that are attached to that project. So also for the 6-month bulk, 80 kg, I can see that my bulk meal plan note is over here too. So again, really easy way to see a bird's eye view of all these cool things. Okay, so we've covered areas and notes very briefly. Again, if you want to learn more about them, I would recommend you to go to the in-depth video guide in the description for those, but we're going to go into seeing all the other features of LGD Pro. First one is achievements, because you get even more views in the achievement sections of LGD Pro. So the standard one that you also get in Lite is this default one over here. You get access to most of these, but you get some more advanced views. Our achievements page, our main achievements page is here. Let's go into OctaCore Achievements, because if I go to OctaCore Achievements, I can see a basic view like this in LGD Lite, where we have the standard board and gallery over here. But if I want to see more detail on all of these and gain even more insights and just have a way cooler achievements board, we can go into the tier plus year, which is the pro version of this achievements board. So I can see, just like we have our vision, our ultimate vision board, we can see our OctaCore achievements plus our tier list like this. So over here is all of the achievements that I've made in my different areas of life in just the diamond section. So if I close these up, you'll see the difference between these, because remember, everything starts as a bronze achievement, and then what you can do is open it up here and add them to different tiers. And so what that does is add all of our most fulfilling achievements in these different areas of life like this. We can also see the same thing just with the pictures if we want, and then we can see a year breakdown of the same thing. So we'll automatically see things that don't have a project date, which will prompt us to add dates to them. But also what we can do is see what we've done in different years. So this is for 2024 this year, and this is for 2023. And so as you use Life Game Design more and more, you'll be able to see the difference between these different years and how you're doing in terms of your achievements. Because as you scroll down, you'll see that some things begin to disappear. And this means that you're having more focus in these areas than others. So scroll down more. I've got the most in strength, and second is intelligence, and so forth like that. So I can really see intuitively, just by playing the game of organizing my life, I get these really cool insights about how my life is going. Scrolling back up to the top, I can see a tier list version of this. Now in the light version, you just have access to this basic view with this, but also you have more granular views of just the silver achievements and the bronze achievements. But in the pro version, you can see more granular views of your diamond achievements, which is really cool. So you've got your diamond achievements here. You can see that you've got your standard diamond things without having to see everything else. You can see it with just the pictures, and then you can also see a year breakdown of just your diamond achievements. So this is super cool because it shows you what have been the most impactful things that you've done in every single year of your life. So let's just pretend I did this trip to Korea in 2023, so I'd add that to 2023, and now you can see the separation between 2024 and 2023. And as you go further, like I said, if you stack these up and use Life Game Design longer and longer, you get to see more and more of these things add over time and see the difference between them. See how impactful each different year has been to you. We can do the same thing by looking at our OctaCore distribution just in diamond, and we can also see that same thing in a linear list view, because usually with this view I have to scroll down and down just to see all of these strength things, while I might not want to see all of these others. But in this different view, in the gallery view, I can see all of the diamond achievements that I've had in strength. I can see all of the diamond achievements that I've had in experience, and so on for all of these, and separate it out from all the other achievements that I had that aren't as impactful to me. Finally, we have our year and OctaCore combination, so we can see all the things that don't have a date. We can see things that we've done in 2024 and things that we've done in 2023 according to OctaCore. So it works the same in gold. I have the exact same gold thing. I've got the year list that I've done my achievements in gold. I can see the OctaCore version of things that I've done in gold, because those are probably like the most influential achievements that you have, both the diamond and the gold ones. So these are going to be the things that you kind of want to screenshot to your friends to show them how you're managing your life. And then finally, in the task section, in the light version, you have a view of the basic view of your task achievements. So we have just a list of the achievements. We have an OctaCore board here of your task achievements, and we have a basic list like this. But if we go to advanced views over here, we can see our month breakdown of all of our OctaCore achievements from the most recent to previous ones. and then we can see an OctaCore and a month breakdown. So this will separate each month out and also show us our OctaCore board at the same time. This will help you really visualize your progress and how you're comparing to each month. And the same thing for doing your year. You can see all of the tasks that you achieved in the year compared to other years. And then you finally got the same thing in just a drop-down list like this. So that's a cool bonus with the task achievements, but mainly the coolest things are within your advanced views of your tier list in the diamond section over here, like this. Especially my favorite is looking at the OctaCore board of your diamond achievements. That's super cool. So going back to achievements, that kind of wraps up what we have extra in LGD Pro. And now I just want to show you all of the dashboards that you get within LGD Pro compared to how you would have it in Lite. Now, these dashboards are just for you to access everything quickly across life game design, but it doesn't gamify the experience of managing your life. So that's mainly what you want to do in the mini games. This is just a really cool bonus for you to be able to do that organization really easily and on the fly, like we saw in our short-term dashboards with the week design dashboard. So let's go through these linearly. We're going to see the APTN dashboards, and because in Lite we only have access to projects and tasks, now in Pro we have access to both areas and notes as well. So let's check out the areas dashboard, and now we can see all of the areas that we have in all these different life aspects. So we can see our areas, we can see just the OctaCore board of our areas as well. We can see our focus areas that we set as weightlifting before, and we can see the status of all of them. So what is in focus, what is active, and what is archived. We also have a list over here, which shows us a breakdown of all of our areas and different OctaCore attributes. And then we've got a search function over here to be able to quickly reference these things. And this shows us all of the area projects and notes that we have attached to these areas. So if we're trying to find a project within an area, that really helps us quickly. Now, this is a feature in LGD Lite, so I don't really have to go over this. So let's go into our notes instead, because this is a Pro exclusive feature. And here we can see our focus notes. So notes that we are going to repeatedly be using. Then we have all of our active notes over here. We can see the same thing just with the different categories. Then we can see the note type. I explained note type just a little bit before. We have our ideas. Every note starts as an idea, and then we can move it as a framework. So something like an idea is a random scribble. Something like a framework be like a squat technique note. I'm going to use this over and over again. So that's something I would put in framework. Websites are things like these software that I find, like Save to Notion website or Aption, these like Notion widgets that I can use over and over and reference them. And finally, media is all your podcasts, YouTube videos, and all that other media that you want to use to organize the notes in your life so you have them all in one place. I can also see my notes by OctaCore like this. I can see and drag and drop them into different sections like that. Press Ctrl-Z to undo that. So generally, if you have things that are here that are uncategorized in this OctaCore section, you can just drag and drop them into the right OctaCore attribute. And remember, if you ever forget how to do that, what OctaCore is, you got the mini guide menu, and from the mini guide you go to OctaCore, and then you can get reminded on what all of these are. Finally, we have our status over here. So our status shows us all of the different status options we have, our archived, active, and focus. And then we've also got this really cool links section here. We can see all of the notes that have links attached. So if I click that URL, it'll take me straight to the video of this weight training basics video and theory by Jeff Nippard. So now that we're done with this, I'll show you how to navigate these dashboards. You can click this to go back to our main view. So I can see we've got this navigation bar up here that shows us our dashboards home, APTN dashboards, which is the one we're on, our utility dashboards, and our short-term dashboards. So if I go back to dashboards home, the next one we're going to be looking at is utility over here. So if I click that and go into utility and see that I've got overdue, capture, vision dashboards, and archives. So these are just really handy views to have. So this overdue page over here, if you haven't used live game design in a while, this will be super handy. So you can see all of your overdue projects and manage them really easily. So I can see both tasks and projects in this section, or I can go into a bit more granularity and have more tools to manage these instead of having this overview like this. So what I would actually do is go here to overdue projects. And now I've got this section here. I've got my overdue projects here. in different ways to see them. And I've also got my calendar here. So one thing that's really cool is that if you know that this is overdue and you want to do this very soon, you can just drag and drop it into here and set the date and get rid of the overdue project at the same time. You can also do that in a batch by clicking this button to set all the overdue projects to today's date. So let me click that and you'll see them all stack up here. I'm going to undo that to show you the other option, which is to clear dates of all of the overdue projects. So if I clear the dates, it's all disappeared. So all of my overdue projects are managed and I can see them again in these active tabs here. So these are the default views for my projects, which is identical to the task. I can just see all of the status options over here. So that makes managing this stuff really easy, even if I haven't touched the app in a while. So I've got the same process for doing tasks. So I can see all of my overdue tasks here. I can click this button to clear all the dates, or I can click this button to set all of them to today's date like this. So I'm going to undo that and I'm actually just going to clear these dates because I'm cool with that. And that's pretty much an overview of the overdue functionality. If I go in back to utility dashboards, I can see this capture page that I have. Now this is also available in LGD Lite, but now we have access to quick capturing our notes. So if I find a really cool video on, let's say, chest cable flies, I can quickly add that and add it to strength really easily without having to select the specific template. And if I don't know how to use OctaCore yet, I can just add this as a default note, which won't be organized by anything, but that's okay. And now going back to utility dashboards, I can check out my vision dashboard, just the vision. I can see all of this stuff here. I can also see the tier list view of the vision dashboard. And this is just a really quick way to reference this. Because we have a section to view our achievements, I felt like you should have also a section to review your vision like this. And you can see it just like you see in your vision minigames and design minigames. So going back to vision dashboards and back to utility dashboards, I can go into the archives. Now, there's a lot of information that you get around all these different things like areas, project tasks, and notes. And maybe you don't want to delete them because you may feel like you will use them again sometime. And this is a really cool way to make sure that you don't get rid of important stuff that you just keep. So you've got the basic views here of all of them, and then you can go into the more detailed views. Like you've got your areas archive here, you've got your projects archive here, and that just goes to give you more views to see what you have archived. So tasks over here, you can see the archive, OctaCore based. You can see your completed tasks because maybe it's taking too much space in your workspace, so you could delete them if you don't care about that. And then you've got your notes archive over here, again with just different granular views. So if I go back to all archives and I can go back to utility dashboards, that's it for utility. So the last one is our short-term dashboards. If we click this button, now we can see our yesterday, today, tomorrow. So these are like the day dashboards. We can see the last 7 days, this week, and next 7 days dashboards over here. And I've even included a bonus month dashboard over here for you guys. So you've got access to the today dashboard in the light version, but in the pro version, because we have the mini games that help us design and reflect on our weeks, we also have the dashboard that helps us let us do those things as well, but very quickly and on the fly. Because the reason why you'd want to have this on top of the mini game is that once you get into the process of designing your week, once you've already done that design, you don't want to go back to the mini game to be able to adjust that. So you want to come to this week to be able to see the dashboard of this week really quickly without having to go through all of those sections of the mini game. So let's say I just want to see the overview of what I had on for this week again in terms of just my focus projects or focus tasks. I can see that here. We don't have that much because we've already done the review, but we can just see, let's say we're going to put this into our focusing. We're going to focus on watching Lord of the Rings. That's cool. We can just come here and see that. We can also see a really cool view, which would be nice after we've done our reflection, is seeing this week's achievements, or even midweek. You want to come here and just show yourself what you've done so far during the week. So again, you can see a chronological list of your week, your OctaCore distribution, your tier list, and your highlights over here. You've got the same thing in this week's projects. I showed you this a little bit in the minigame, so I'm not going to go too much into detail already. We've got our design section of the this week design minigame here for projects, and the same with tasks, and we can organize our notes as well, which is super awesome. So going back to our short-term dashboards, we can see the same thing for the next 7 days. So we can see our overview of what we're going to be doing the next 7 days. We can see a project section for what we're going to be doing the next 7 days and our next 7 days tasks as well. And let's have a look at our bonus for this month. We can see our this month dashboard, which is exactly the same as the this week dashboard, where we have all of our achieved things, our focusing. We've got our calendars over here and just our default views of our projects and tasks over here. So going back to these standard views, then I can see all of the achievements that I've had this month if I press this tab over here. And it's the same, we can see a chronological list of the month, and it actually breaks it down between each different week. So this is 29th of July to the 4th of August. This is August 12th to 18th. So I can see what my achievements have been looking like in all of these different weeks. We've got the same with the OctaCore view, breaking it down by weeks as well. And then we've got the standard tier list and also our highlights for each week of the month. If we want more detailed views, we've got this month projects as well, which is laid out exactly the same as this week's projects, and the same with tasks. And then finally, the same with the notes over here. So I can see all of the notes that I've edited for this month and kind of just overview them, organize them. So those are the cool features you get as a bonus in LGD Pro. And one of the last things I want to show you is the phone dashboards. All right, so to get to my phone dashboards, I have two options. I can go back to these short-term dashboards, go back to dashboards home, and I can see phone is over here, phone dashboards. But if I am in my main dashboard, I can see our main menu bar over here that shows us the core pages of Life Game Design. There's this little icon here that is actually a portal to our phone dashboards. So you've got that way to go there, but if I go back to my main dashboards using this button, I can see that I've got the phone dashboards here. That takes me to the exact same view. And this is really cool for organizing and adjusting your Life Game Design on the fly, because there'll be new notes that you want to take real quickly. There'll be new projects and tasks, and maybe even area ideas that you get. So what you want to do is, the first thing that is going to be the most prevalent is this phone capture. So over here, they're all laid out in a similar manner with the phone dashboards. You can click these buttons to navigate really easily throughout everything that you have. So I can press this button to go back to my LGD home and then open up my phone dashboards again using this little icon. So opening phone capture again, I can see that I've got my project capture here. All I need to do another project is, like, let's say I'm going to clean my room real quick, and I'll just add that as a project because I decided to. I can do that really easily on the fly, add the date like this, and now that's added in my capture. And so I've got the same for projects, tasks, and notes that I showed you a bit before. And then when I scroll to the bottom, I can use this menu to go back to the top really easily, and also go back to the phone dashboard. So everything is really fluid in how you navigate it. You've also got the Overdue dashboard for your phone. So if you know that you forgot to set a whole bunch of things to achieve yesterday, they will show up in your Overdue, and you can easily manage them over here. You've got the Overdue for both projects and tasks, but you can also have the granularity of doing them each individually like this. And this menu will show you exactly where you are in the navigation system. So if I go back to phone dashboards, I can see the other one, which is areas, projects, tasks, and notes dashboard from my phone. I can navigate all of these things. I can use this menu bar here to quickly go to something like tasks and see the default view of all of my things like this. So it makes managing everything really easily from your phone. So LGD is not only a computer app, now it's also a mobile app as well. If we're capturing notes on our phone, we can come quickly here to organize them. And then I want to go back to my phone dashboards. So that's the APTN dashboards on your phone. And you've got two really handy ways to see your today dashboard on your phone. You've got that here, and I can see today's projects really quickly. Things like my highlights for today, projects for today, and even project capture at the bottom. So I can handle all of the stuff to do with projects in one space. And it's the same for tasks and notes. And I can also see just the today dashboard showing me everything. So I go straight to tasks down here, and then it will show me that. If I go back to my phone dashboards, I can see the same thing, but in a week dashboard. What's really cool is that I can see the week's achievements on my phone. So if my friend's asking me what I've been up to this week, I can just pull this out, go to week's achievements on my dashboard, and just show them all the things that I've done in these different OctaCore areas of life and the different tier list stuff. So that would be really cool to show. And then you've got your week's projects here. If you want to see all of the highlights that you've got going on for this week, or all of just the general projects that you've got going on this week at a glance, that'll be really handy. And again, at the bottom, you have this project capture. So getting out of that, it's the same for tasks and notes for this week. Going back to the phone dashboards, the final and coolest one is the achievements on your phone. So this shows you all of your achievements in a phone view. So you can see all of the things that you've done most recently. If you just scroll down again, if your friends are asking you about what life game design is and stuff, you can quickly show this to them. And what's really cool is that you can use the tier list, which is probably the coolest one. You can show them the most impactful things that you've ever done in your life. Because once you first open your life game design, it'd be really cool if you go back and think about all the things you've already achieved to show yourself that undeniable stack of proof of how you came to where you are today. So going from the tier list, you can also go into the OctaCore view, and over here you can show them all of the things that you've done in terms of the different areas. So I can use this toggle to collapse the different sections, or I can show the board as well. And basically what you would do is scroll to the left and right to show them these different sections, and then scroll down once you want to show them how deep these things go. So that is it for the achievements phone dashboards as well. And what you want to do is save this page to your home screen so that when you open your phone, this is the first thing that you can see, especially with the capture page. You can just add that as a widget on your phone, so you'll be able to access it in one tap and capture everything really quickly. So we can go back to LGD Home, LGD Pro Home by doing this. And lastly, I just want to really showcase off the mini guides that you have access to. So remember that all of the concepts that you have in life game design aren't things that you need to remember off by heart, because you have access to learning about them all in the mini guides that can be accessed without leaving the page that you're on. So if I want to learn more about areas, I can just click that. I can go back to the minigame homepage. I can go back down and learn more about achievements like this and do an in-depth guide. And I've also got video guides, so I can think what counts as an achievement, and it will tell me every project you complete counts as an achievement. And I can see specific examples in OctaCore here using these picture guides, and also get access to a video guide. And the coolest thing about this is that there's so many video guides I've made that aren't essential to be able to use life game design, but really help you understand how in-depth all of these frameworks go. If I go to my video guides gallery over here, I can see everything that I have access to broken down into different sections. So I can see OctaCore, APTN, and areas video guide. I can see specific projects video guides, tasks and notes video guides, miscellaneous stuff, the tutorial ones as well. And also I've got a collection of all of the mini game video guides down here. So that's everything from vision, design, focus, and reflect. All right, that wraps up the full tour of Life Game Design Pro. Thank you guys so much for joining me to go in depth on all of these concepts and all of these extra features that I've included in LGD Pro to help you become the designer of your own life. I can't wait to see in the community how you guys use your own LGD Pro to make your life more fulfilling. I've added links in the descriptions to all of the extra, more nuanced videos of everything that I cover in terms of the more complicated frameworks. Like I've got the OctaCore, areas, highlights, all that good stuff, so you can see exactly how LGD works. So that's a wrap, and I hope you design yourself a good day.